I'm gonna go head to head on with the Simplex 11-inch coil and the Equinox 11-inch coil in the test garden here. Both these coins have been here for about a year. I have a 10-inch clad $1/2 in fairly clean ground, and I have about a 9-inch silver quarter with a bunch of iron all around it. And I have quite a few friends who have Minelabs, and the Minelab has struggled in this test garden a few times, and the Simplex is also struggling in it a few times. But I'll start out in Park 1. My gain is not too crazy right now because I have a lot of EMI, so I'll just jack it all the way up, see if I can get away with that. And my iron bias is at, my recovery speed is at 5, and that's normally what I hunt in, and my iron bias is at 3 or 2. I normally have my iron bias at 3, but it just hits a little bit better in the iron here at 2, the irony target here. And I'll show you here the difference between the Simplex and the Equinox. I have that 10-inch clad $1/2 right here. It's hitting it really good, right? In my normal settings, Park 1. I like Park 1 in this. But if I swing faster, at my normal swing speed, I'm gonna skip that target up, right? My gain is all the way up right now, and I normally don't have it all the way up because it does this, right? There's a lot of EMI around everywhere. The parks, the schools, the curb strips have a lot of EMI, and I hunt a lot in those sites. It slaughters it in other modes, right? I'll go over here to Park 2. Park 2, I have it set at my recovery speed is at 5, and my iron bias is at 1, and it hits it pretty good here, right? Actually, I'll go back in that setting and. But it's just so noisy in Park 2. You know, it hits on a lot of just junk targets, you know? A lot of junk targets. You know, I'll be investigating a lot of junk, and I'll swing over that coin right there. I'll hit it. I'll still hit it. You know, it's still performing very well in there. And I'll go to field mode. I'll tear it up here in field mode. Field 1, it's gonna rip it apart. And in field mode, you can't really be swinging very fast, you know, just ripping it apart, right? There's nothing over here, you know. I'm just swinging over in some area that are quiet, or it's quiet out here. There's no coins out here, but I'm normally in Park 1 mode, right? My normal settings are in Park 1 mode in the place that I hunt and my swing speed. Now here's that silver quarter with a bunch of iron all around it in my normal settings, 5 recovery speed, 3 iron bias, and my gain is all the way up just to match it up with the Simplex a little bit here. A lot of iron in this hole. It's a very, very contaminated hole, right? Now I'll go to Park 2 mode. Does a lot better. But see, I can't be hunting like this with it jacked all the way up. So I'll have to go down with my gain, because I'll be investigating a lot of falsing signals, right? It's just hitting the iron there. I'll take the iron off. And normally when I get a target like that, I skip them up, you know. But if I was in field mode, I'll go to field mode here, and I'm in multi-frequency. I've tried it in different frequencies and just doesn't hit it, this coin, man. It doesn't hit this coin in this iron. And I'll try it in field 1 mode here. Just rips it apart, man. It likes it. likes it a lot, man. But there's a bunch of junk around here too, so you know, there's a lot of falsing signals out here, right? There's quite a bit of iron in the soil here. And now I'll go to field 2 mode. Just rips this thing apart, man. Just tears it up, man, right here. Look at that. Just ripping it apart. This is a tough target for most detectors, right? My iron bias is not too wild in there too. Oops. Yeah. My recovery speed is at 7. So I'll go down a little bit. I'll just try to hit a little bit better. And it should hit a little bit better here. Yeah, it's hitting it a lot better at recovery speed 6. I'll go to 5. And this is what the test garden's for. The test garden is not to see how deep it goes, or it's to dial my machine in, to know what kind of conditions I need to put my metal detector in, what modes and what settings to use for certain conditions. And this is a lot of iron in that hole. There's a lot of rusty square nails above it and all around it, man. It's a really contaminated hole. Silver quarter, 9 inches deep. It's hitting it, it's banging it hardcore. Now I'll go into my iron bias and I'll lift that up a little bit and watch this. I'll go to 4. Nothing, man. Actually, it's banging a little teeny bit there. But if I was swinging my normal speed, I would just totally skip that thing up. So the Equinox, you're having to really dial it in a lot. And I got the Simplex on here. Park 1 mode, gain all the way up. No other settings can make this detector hit this better, right? '90s, 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 '90s. I'm swinging as fast as I can right here. Still get 90s signals, right? 90s, 90s. If you can see it, you know, 90s, right? Swinging as fast as I can. Bangs that thing hardcore. That's in Park 1. This is Park 2, jacked all the way up, running hot. 95, 96, 98, 98, 91, 97, 92, 93. I'm swinging as fast as I can right here. Right? 98, 98, 96, 98, 96, 98, 92. I got a 70 there. Super simple machine. I don't have to show you any settings. There's no other settings on this machine that I can get this thing to perform better on that coin, right? Now there's that junky hole there with that silver quarter, 9 inches deep. That was a 10-inch one, 10-inch clad half. This is silver quarter with a bunch of iron all around it. And I'll start out in Park 2 mode. And I'm swinging fast here, you know, to start out with. Now I'll go slower here. '80s, 40s, 20s, 04, 04, a lot of 04s. Now I'll go to Park 1 here. Rips it apart. Rips it apart. Hear those tones? I'll swing up fast right here. That's asking a lot for any metal detector to be swinging that fast. Now I'll go to field mode. A lot of iron tones in there. Every detector responds differently to those coins every day. But to tell you the truth, it's really not how much you spend on a metal detector. It's not how many years experience you have with a metal detector. It's about that certain day that you swing over that target. Most of it's luck, man. I see so many guys dig up stuff, epic stuff, in beat up spots, man. And I go to the same places over and over and over again. I get some epic stuff, man. It's just stuff comes out at, it's just mostly luck, man. If you want to spend $1,000 on a metal detector and you see this right here, you know, if you want to step into an Equinox as your first machine, you're gonna love it. If you want to step into a Simplex, if it's your first machine, you're gonna love it. It doesn't matter how much money you spend on a machine, man. With the Equinox, sure, it is multi-frequency and it does go into quite a few more places than the Simplex can go. But if you're hunting like every weekend or just a few hours a week, man, why spend $1,000 on a machine that is quite a bit more complicated? You have all the frequencies, the iron bias, and all the recovery speed, all the extra modes. The Simplex, you just turn this machine on and you go, man. So many people I've seen metal detect with their first time ever, and they get silver with the Simplex, or they get an epic relic, man. With the Equinox, yes, it is a lot lighter machine, and you have a lot more that you can do with the Equinox. But is it worth that, you know, several $100s more? I could buy over 3 Simplexes for the price of an Equinox, right? I'm not knocking either machine, but the Simplex does have its limitations, and there's actually a lot of limitations that the Simplex has, and there's a lot of limitations that the Equinox has too. You know, like the durability of it, and you know, it takes a long time to charge. It takes like 4 hours to charge this machine. With the Simplex, it takes like 2 hours to charge, and you can go for 2 or 3 days without charging this thing up. And with the Equinox, you know, I can swing just as fast with the 6-inch coil on there as the Simplex with the big coil, and still get just as much stuff. But with the big Equinox coil, you know, I'm not really into big coils. I'm not really into that big coil on the Equinox either. Even on my Amphibio, I don't really use my 11-inch coil very much. But with the Simplex, it's just so lightweight, man. For the price, for 250 bucks, man, you just can't beat this machine, man. You saw that the recovery speed of this Simplex is freaking out of this world for 250 bucks, man. I don't have thousands of hours on the Equinox like I do the Amphibio and the Simplex, but the Equinox is freaking an awesome machine, man. That little 6-inch coil has gotten me so much jewelry in the last couple weeks. It's just crazy. It's absurd. But they're shallower targets. You know, I've been getting a lot of jewelry with that, with the smaller coil there. And now I'm starting to use this larger coil, and I wanted to test it out in the test garden. I pretty much test the coins in this test garden on a lot of machines every week. I just come back every day and try to dial my machines and learn my machines a little bit more. And with the Equinox, you know, I think that little smart coil does really good for my style of hunting. I swing fast, and I swing in some places that are pretty beat up. I'm not gonna want to be getting a lot of 10-inch deep targets. That's why I don't have a lot of big coils in most of my videos. And with the Simplex, it doesn't matter what size of coil you have with that thing on, man. It's just such a deep-seeking machine. But with the Simplex, you just can't get into those high EMI areas. You can't go in super hot soil like some parts of my city have this really red clay stuff, and the Simplexes will just absolutely not even do it, man. And with the Equinox, I can go into those spots, you know, those high EMI spots, those spots where it's hot soil or there's a lot of trash, and put my 6-inch smart coil on. That'll do a little bit better than the 5x9 with the Simplex. And there's just so much EMI around, man. Nowadays, everybody has modems in their house, and the high power lines, you know, next to curb strips, even out in fields, you know, I get a lot of EMI out in fields, and I believe the Equinox is, you know, you're really getting what you pay for. You know, there's a lot of features on the Equinox that you can really use to your advantage, like all the modes, the iron bias, the recovery speed, and you can set it up to your conditions. But with the Simplex, man, you just turn this freaking machine on in any mode and you can just kill it, man. Especially Park 1 mode. Park 1 mode is really a very good in-between mode for the depth and recovery speed. I want to make a few more videos with the Equinox and the Simplex, a few test videos in the next couple weeks. And I will be showing you the differences between some gold and silver and some deeper coins, like in some parks. I'll just bury a coin or something, and or I'll bury a gold ring next to a fence or something, and see what push these coils to the limit, these 11-inch stock coils. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe.